So thank you for joining me, Louise. You're a Pinterest expert. And so we have a lot of questions from e-commerce store owners and brands that are looking to build traffic to their online store or to other marketplace channels using Pinterest. So I was really intrigued to talk with you a little bit more about, as a Pinterest consultant, the type of work that you do and sort of where you see Pinterest going and how influential it can be for brands selling products online. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Pinterest?
Sure. So I started in the travel space, helping bloggers and travel brands to use Pinterest to get traffic back to their websites. The travel category on Pinterest is a pretty popular one. So I started out sort of doing account management and making the graphics and sort of testing different strategies and seeing which ones worked best. And I started to get pretty good results. So I figured I should probably bring this to the e-commerce community, since Pinterest is going to be such an important player in the e-commerce space over the next few years.
Great. So let's dive into Pinterest and what the opportunity is. And maybe for people who aren't so familiar with Pinterest as a platform, can you explain why it's such a great platform for e-commerce brands?
Yeah, so a lot of people group it with the other social media channels. And the truth of the matter is that it's not so much social media. It's more, it should be thought of like a search engine. So the content that you feed into the Pinterest, your account and the Pinterest environment, it lives on for months and months at a time. It sort of should be likened to Google in that you create the content and share it there, and the visitors to your website share it there, and it stays circulating for a long, long time. And then people can find it through searching or through, the various connections or interests that they follow. So because it's this visual search engine, it's become somewhat of a shopping portal. And it's a place where people are going not only to, plan weddings and get ideas for redecorating or for their trips, but it's a place where if you're looking for a certain style or an item of clothing, you're going to go see what pictures exist in that sort of atmosphere. And people are using it to sort of ending up making purchasing decisions based on the research of what they find and the boards that they build up, sort of like vision boards.
Right. And so that is, you mentioned weddings, and Pinterest kind of, at least to me, has this reputation of being a place where people go to pin wedding inspiration and cooking and stuff like that. So it seems to be for some people, it seems very category specific. So what's your take on what categories seem to do really well on Pinterest and others that you would sort of look at and say maybe you'd want to consider a different traffic channel or social media channel?
Anything and most things that, are being sold, you have these visual assets. So I think anything with strong visual assets or that you can sort of use to design enticing graphics with compelling imagery will work. But in terms of categories, the most popular, number one is food, of course. And then runners up are home decor, do-it-yourself, and crafts. And then fashion and beauty come in along the top as well.
Okay.
Especially anything that's like holidays and seasonal content or products do incredibly well, in their seasons. People they have a first impression that Pinterest is only for X, Y, and Z niches. And it's being shown that it's just growing larger and larger for every niche, and there's more users year after year exploring so many different things.
Right. And I know at one point that the demographic user of Pinterest skewed like 70% female or something. Is that still the case?
It's still majority female, but it's gone more to 60-40. And they just came out with some statistics this year, a few months back, that said that males are the largest growing demographic, and especially international outside the U.S. So it's growing internationally more, and it's gone from last year they reported 100 million monthly users, and they said this year it's up to 150 million monthly users. Wow. So it's growing really fast, and the male demographic is growing really fast too. So if you promote specifically, if you sell products to men, you should know that when you sign up for an account, the user selects female or male, and the male users get targeted with all of the male sort of what would be relevant to them and the niches and the categories that are intended for them to see.
Gotcha. Okay. And so tell us a little bit about your strategy as it pertains to e-commerce, because I know that something you and I have talked about in the past is that best practice is that you're pinning content rather than product pages. So could you elaborate on that concept a little bit, and what kind of content you should be pinning ideally to boards, and what kind of strategy brands should be employing?
Well, so there's definitely a space for, promoting your products and for having boards that are sort of product showcases, but content marketing strategists, of course, they recommend that you provide free content that would serve your ideal customer. So what I recommend is, if you have a big portfolio of products, of course you should be, showing photos of those and sharing those and having boards made up of those. But the pins that are going to get the most engagement, that are going to get the most repins, and that are going to be seen by the most people are the helpful articles that sort of lend to purchasing the product, but they're more just sort of informative and helpful. And this is what's going to get people checking you out and discovering your brand through this free content that they're interested in for the sake of planning or a project that they're working on, things like that.
Okay, this content-driven strategy makes a lot of sense for brands that have a really robust e-commerce store, because they can have a blog and they can have other content that they can drive people to, which then leads onto a product sales page where it could be added to a cart and whatnot. Let's talk about Amazon for a second, because that's what we do at Bobsled Marketing. So for brands that are selling on Amazon, to what extent can they really be leveraging the product pages on Amazon and sending traffic directly to it?
It's fine to share Amazon links on Pinterest. The only downside is that you can't track the traffic. And the user, from like the user perspective, they might not be ready to buy immediately. They might need to see a little bit of information about it. So unless, you have a really ready buyer who's can go to the Amazon listing and see enough detail that sort of convinces them that this is the product that they should be buying, it might be more useful actually to funnel them through your website first. Not only can you track it, and you just have more control and can sort of see the traffic to sales ratio that way. And like I said, if you have a products board and you want to link directly to it, that's fine. But what I would recommend is to send people through the website first, and then to include the links on the website so that it can be tracked and so that they can kind of like learn more before making the purchasing decision.
Right. Got it.
One more thing, just to make sure that on your website, people know that your products are available on Amazon, so that people can see, I can just buy it on Amazon super easily. They can save the link, or they know that, just to make them super aware when they land on your page that it's not going to be a difficult process to buy whatever it is they might discover that they want to buy.
That's a great point. So what kind of tools and software and services are out there for brands that want to get started with a Pinterest marketing strategy?
So I really love Tailwind. There's a few Pinterest schedulers in existence, and they all have their sort of benefits and disadvantages. But I think Tailwind wins out mostly for its amazing analytics suite and its ease of use. They're an API partner with Pinterest, so they know when your pins are already getting the most engagement, and they'll recommend time slots for you and sort of recommend content. And they have all these ways to make it really easy to have a really, really robust strategy.
A final question around PPC or advertising on Pinterest. I know that you're more focused on the organic content side of Pinterest marketing, but could you tell us what you know about Pinterest's advertising platform?
Yeah, so it's fairly new, and they've been expanding the tools a lot and the features a lot over the past year. And they now, you can target by search result, which is going to be pretty big. And it's still a fairly low competition space. So if you're trying to figure out where your ad spend should go, it's relatively cheap depending on your niche. I know that some niches have gotten more popular over the last year and more competitive as more people are using them. But what I would really recommend for people who are sort of hesitant to throw money at ads and experiment that way is to start with an organic strategy, and then after 2 or 3 months, whichever pins do the best, you can boost them, you can promote them, and then you have a higher chance of them succeeding because you know that they're already doing well organically and they'll get shown a lot more.
So most important question for most brand owners and marketing managers is what kind of ROI can brands expect and over what time frame using Pinterest?
Yeah, so I know this is a concern for a lot of people because we tend to want results now, and if I'm going to be spending money on a software or an account manager, or graphic designer, you want to know that it's going to pay off. The thing about Pinterest though is that it's sort of like Google SEO. It takes a little while to see solid results. So what I usually tell people is to not expect huge results in growth and traffic to the website, back to your website, until the 3 to 6 month range, which can seem like a lot. We get a pin to go viral on Pinterest, and you get that traffic for months and months and months to that post that's gone viral. So I think most people should give it a go, just because it can easily become your number one source of social media referral traffic, if not overall traffic. I've seen in a lot of my clients, we've managed to get it to be number one, and heaps and heaps more traffic than any other platform or source. So it's definitely worth it if you're willing to put in the time and do a little bit of experimentation up front and be patient. It's the patience platform.
Right, the patience platform, Pinterest. I like it. Great. Thank you so much, Louise, for sharing your knowledge. And tell us a little bit more about what services you offer at pincoach.com.
Thank you so much for having me, Carrie. Starting in 2017, I'm launching this new project, which is I'm working exclusively with one-on-one clients. I'm taking them through my Pinterest Marketing Mastery program. It's a 6-step system that I've developed to optimize the website, social media accounts, and get a solid content marketing strategy with the aim of implementing the Pinterest strategy to increase your traffic and sales. So if you're interested in looking more into this, you can get my free checklist at pincoach.com and check that your profile is optimized and has everything it needs. And if you're interested in working with a Pinterest marketing coach, I have an application that you can fill out for a complimentary discovery call and strategy session at pincoach.com.
Great. Thank you, Louise.
Thanks for having me, Carrie. It was great talking to you.